Okay, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Thank you guys for coming tonight. If you will, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. We have agendas in the back. If you guys didn't pick one up, I'll bring some around when Madison comes up to the mic. We'll have our speaker go first, and then we'll take care of our housekeeping, as I tend to like to do it. So tonight we are pleased to be joined by U.S. Senate Candidate Madison Horn. She joined us in January via Zoom, but we wanted to get her here in person for you guys to meet and ask your questions, person to person. So if you will, please help me join Madison Horn. If you could stand here so that our Zoom can catch you.
Perfect.
And if you need to adjust, just go ahead. But if you don't row.
Okay.
Otherwise, the mic won't pick you up. So
we're gonna do this. There's what, 6 of you guys in this room? Okay. So we're gonna slightly shuffle, but it's only because I think it's weird for me to stand. I'm gonna do this. I think it's weird for me to stand above you, right? When it's just the same people. Yeah. All right. That's better.
Is that better?
Is it okay if I take this off, talk to this? Is that okay? Everyone good with it? Okay. All right. Yeah.
There we go.
All right. I've been
Okay.
in the car. Can you see me okay? If I sit? All right, cool. It just seems so silly. You can come closer if you'd like. All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, let's just introduce. I want to know who you guys are. I've already talked to you once, so I'll just get to know you.
I'm Laura.
Hi, Laura. I'm Madison. You too.
Nola.
Hi, Nola.
Roberta.
Roberta, nice to meet you.
John Weston.
Nice jacket, John Weston. Sir in the green shirt. Adam. All right, rock on. Hi, Mark. How are you? Awesome. Well, were you guys all here when I presented, I guess, a couple months back? That's okay. That's fantastic. This is good. We're all new friends. Obviously, I'm Madison Horn. I'm from Stillwell, Oklahoma. You guys know where that's at?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So that is where I'm from. I was the 7th generation to play in my grandfather's front yard. And so I can't even say 7th generation Oklahoman because my family was literally here 53 years before Oklahoma became a state. So I'm like, I guess my family's 1st generation Oklahomans, and then coming in part of the Trail of Tears and things of that nature. I am Cherokee. I was born in Tahlequah, but grew up primarily in Stillwell. My family are mostly educators. My dad was an ag teacher, so please don't be offended by the word shit, but I was covered in it, crisscrossing the state because he was an ag teacher. We'll just call it dirt, so we're not offensive all night. But I grew up going to every single county fair, every small pig farm, every small cattle farm across the state because the poor guy didn't have sons. Sucker for him, blessing for me, because it taught me hard work. It taught me humility, because when you're covered in dirt and you're from middle of nowhere, then you are no one. And it is the best thing in the world, and I hope to die no one. I learned the importance of community. I learned the importance of education. I learned the importance of respect for others. And it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, because without it, I wouldn't be here today. And I say that because, one, I fell in love with education. I fell in love with kids, and I fell in love with teaching. I went to the Boys and Girls Club after high school and always thought that I would work in nonprofits. I thought that was going to be my lifelong dream. You know, at 15, we think we know everything, but what we don't know is things don't go as planned. And, you know, at 15, I started getting abused by my mother. And so I kind of spent the rest of my life kind of figuring out just what becoming an adult was going to be in a new life, in a new world. But also I still wanted to follow education. So I was like, how do I get out of my situation? How do I rise above my situation? And I got my tax return, my first very one, and I rented a 26-foot U-Haul and I drove to Atlanta, Georgia, because that's where the Boys and Girls Club headquarters was. Well, I didn't get a job, but I did start school, and I had 4 jobs: waitressing, worked a student aide at the university I worked at. I was a front desk person, and then I also coached basketball too. The kids loved it, had a great time. Well, one of the jobs I started working in was, or that I was working at, the front desk at a hotel. I had a group of people who said, you know what, do you want to work in cybersecurity? And I said, what? Right? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I said, well, you're really good with people. You understand business. We think you should come work in cybersecurity. And they were offering me not a great salary, but more than what my 4 little jobs were. And so 12 years ago, I started working in cybersecurity. And I found a new love. I found a new love working within critical infrastructure and being a servant in a different way, and learning how to protect systems from bad guys. I even got to feel like I was a bad guy leading an ethical hacking team. And so companies would hire us and say, you want to rob the bank? I was like, heck yeah, I do. Does it get to go to my account? No, but we had fun trying to do it. We put Taylor Swift lyrics in different media outlets, trying to figure out how it could subvert the news, how it could be used against the nation, how it could be used for bad things. And it was super cool. I think I can use that word. It was cool to find myself in a position that I was protecting American assets in a different way. And I didn't even realize the magnitude of it until Trump got elected. And we understood the power of disinformation and how that can really just change everyone's mindset. And then he got elected and I was devastated. I'm not going to isolate the men. I'm sure you guys were devastated in different ways, but for women, I found it impacted us so much more because of the fact that it gave this nasty population of people this voice to marginalize everyone else. And I do not believe that is my country, in which I love. And we can say that as Democrats. We can take that word back as being a patriot. And so that was the first moment that I was like, I'm kind of ticked off. I'm ticked off that he is marginalizing women. He's marginalized different racial groups, because I've been an advocate for women. I've been an advocate for women that I work with, because I'm 1% within my industry. Only 1% of women within leadership positions in cybersecurity actually make it into leadership positions. So for me, to make them second-class citizens, it was personal, something that I've been fighting for. And then as these groups started rising and we started seeing extremism and the division in our country, that was that second reason. I was like, now I'm real ticked off, because again, something that I've been fighting for. I was like, you will not do this. I was in DC when January 6th happened. I'd already planned to move back here. But on that day that happened, I turned to my roommate and I said, I need you to duct tape these hands to my body because I need to go pee. I didn't go do that. But for me, it was another moment that my country, in which I love, has been so much division has happened. This is where we've gotten to. That the democracy and the core of our country was in danger because of one man. One man who has no leadership skills, has no respect for human dignity, and has led a group of individuals within our US Senate and our US Congress to actually believe the things that he had said. And to me, that was sickening. So for me, it was, if I do not do something, I am part of the problem. I am from Oklahoma, as I said. This is my home. This is the place that I love. And I believe that it needs leadership that cares about people. Now you're gonna be like, well, Madison, what's your platform? What are the things you stand for? This is what we're gonna talk about. These are the questions I want you to ask me and talk to me about. Because I can tell you my platform, but when I get to the US Senate, things are gonna be different. And I say that because I will have to make law or vote on pieces of legislation in the moment. And what you have to do is entrust me that I will make a good decision in that moment. Not that I'm here and saying, I believe education is key and the future for every single generation. I do believe those things, but you need to know who I am trust the things that we don't talk about tonight, that I am still going to represent Oklahoma and your values. So what I would love to do is just turn it over to you guys and ask questions, and let's have that conversation versus me just yapping. Does that work? Is that good? All right, cool. Where do we want to go from here? Who has a question? You're writing stuff down.
I am writing some things down.
Yeah.
I couldn't get my husband to come with me. So
Loser.
I know, he will. He's gonna be sorry. So.
Yeah, he is. All
I'm
right.
gonna be able to tell him about you.
Well, what do you think that he's gonna ask?
Did she seem smart?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope I checked that box. Okay. You have a question?
Me?
Yeah. You do?
Okay.
All
well, I
right.
was gonna
Sorry, I didn't mean to
ask,
force you out of it.
Not hearing as good as I should because I lost my hearing aid during all this mess. But what do you think about your experience that you would bring that would make you good at being in the U.S. Senate?
Absolutely. So
Being from the strawberry capital.
the best place in the world. Sorry, I have a little bit of cat hair on me. She refuses to let me out the door without it. So I will say one thing that I've been able to do and to learn is because I didn't understand that there were different social economic classes. I didn't realize that there was division because in Stillwell, Oklahoma, the place that I love, everyone is equal. And I say that because we're all just working hard to get by. And so when I left and went to Atlanta, Georgia, where it was, at the time, not at the time, but was the capital of segregation and just all the different race wars, then to me, I learned an entirely different version of disparity. And I learned respect for other cultures. But I also got to learn what it meant to sit back and listen to other people's struggles and other people's experiences. And I got to do that when I went to DC and when I worked across all the different states. I've been to all but one, Alaska. I've not been to Alaska yet. All for work. I'm not like super wealthy and I've traveled the world. But I tell you this because of the number of people that I've been able to interact with, that I believe my one superpower, if I can say that, is people. I know how to bring people together, and above anything and everything that we need right now, it is unity. And without unity, nothing can happen. So, yeah.
But how could you do that with all the followers that Langford has developed
Sure.
with his philosophy and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And I, some days when I'm incredibly confident, then I'm like, we're going to do this. And then some days that I just cry in the shower. I'm like, dang, this is going to be really hard. And it is really hard. And that's okay for us to understand. But what I see when I've traveled across the state, when I have these conversations, everyone is looking for a change. Now, I think people have lost hope. I think people have lost hope and said, well, nothing's going to change, so I'm not going to get out and vote, or I'm not going to do something. And for that is the wrong thing to do. If you want to see change, then you've got to get out of your chair. You got to go register to vote, take a buddy and say, hey, buddy, we are going to register to vote, and we are going to vote on June 28th. And this is what we're going to do. And I know that that's a simple thing to look at. When we look across the state, Oklahoma is such an independent group of individuals. They think very independently. Now, yes, Langford has a huge following. They are independent thinkers. Shake your head at me. I'm just kidding. You're allowed to think that. And we can talk about it. Langford has a huge following, absolutely. But he has lost a lot of that following. And what we're saying is even the Trump supporters, it sounded the same. Even some of the Republicans are frustrated with Langford because of the fact that he did, I think, lost his moral compass, and they thought that he was going to keep it. And then he followed Trump and still is following Trump. And moderates are frustrated.
That's why I left.
That's why you left the Republican Party.
That's why I left that party.
Well, welcome.
Well, see, I knew I'm old enough to know, like in the 80s, when he treated his wife, I said, they said, I'm gonna go like, I cannot vote for. I know, and you're right. I was talking to a lady today, said, it's the same expression that they're drinking the same Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
whatever.
I really think, and I don't think this is like me up here, like on a soapbox and trying to get you excited. I really do believe if Oklahomans believe there's an opportunity for change, truly believe it, then we would kick his butt and win in November. But it's just people in Oklahoma have to believe there's an opportunity for change. I know you have a question, but he told me he had a question, and then I'll take you next. Yeah? All right.
Okay, my question is, you talked about how disinformation is running our democracy. I wonder from a policy standpoint, what do you think the remedy is without infringing our perspective?
Sure. So did everyone hear his question? Okay.
Can you repeat it?
Absolutely. I might get part of your question wrong, so correct me if I missed any of it. So you're asking about disinformation and what do we think we can do from a policy perspective to help fight disinformation
Without violating our constitution.
without violating our constitutional rights. Love it. So another reason that I decided to run for office is because technology is ingrained in everything. Yes, everything. You probably have all cell phones in your pockets, right? Those are smarter than the first computers in the world, right? There is more technology in your cell phone than this first space shuttle that went to the moon, right? I'm not kidding. It's a little wild. And I say that because yet we went to the moon a while back, but yet no one in the US Senate has a background in technology or a background in cybersecurity. And they're making policy for businesses, for education, the way that data is used, but yet have no idea the way that the technology actually uses any of it or can control it. So don't we think that's a problem? We don't have a US Senate that actually matches the modern world. So for me, when I talk about my background in technology, it's one of the reasons that I decided to run, because I believe that it's something that we have to have for our economy, for national defense and national security. I believe that that's what we have to have for our workforce and ensure that in Oklahoma, especially where we have issues with rural access to broadband, and someone needs to give a damn about it. But the other thing is knowing that the jobs of the future do not look like the ones of yesterday. And we don't have anyone thinking about what tomorrow is going to look like in Oklahoma. It's a lot of the same rinse and repeat. So for me, when I think about, and I know I went in a long tangent here, but when I think about disinformation, then one, it's understanding how that disinformation is spread, because it's not just people and the talking heads in the US Senate. It has to do with the technology and the data privacy around it. So for me, it's around data privacy. It's around ensuring that people know the way that that data is being used, and versus, you know, that little bitty fine print at the very bottom of the page, they see like this much of me. It's hysterical. Maybe I'll sit again. They think that I'm just like a torso. It's actually influencing policy that people know how they're using their data. So that's part of it. Yeah. All right. So sorry, Eric?
So there's just a full-on assault on reproductive rights in the US right now. And I'm wondering, beyond just voting for the justice who would uphold the woman's right to choose, how would, and I mean, my assumption is you support a woman's right to choose. Perhaps that's wrong. So my first question would be, what is your stance on that?
Sure.
Second, you know, I'm a big believer in a woman's right to choose. How are you going to defend that right beyond just voting for justice should somebody pass it?
Sure.
That's not enough. It's just not enough.
Yeah, and I agree with you entirely. So when we as people are one of legislators talk about choice for women, then we never talk about the woman themselves and the decision to get there. There is not a single woman that says, well, on Friday, I'm going to wake up, have my coffee, go get lunch. We're going to go get lunch. And then at 4, I'm going to get an abortion. No one makes that decision, nor do they want to go make that decision. Not just that, once they have to make that choice, there is so much long-term impact, both from a woman's body, the hormones in which they are continuously flowing through their body, and the emotional trauma that goes around that. And we never talk about it. We just say that, we are killing babies. No, we have to talk about impact of to women. So what can we do for women to help them not have to make that decision? It's through education. It's through access to women's health care. That is the issue here. And no one wants to have that conversation, because then we're saying, oh, well, that's welfare systems. No, that is taking care of women's health. And no single man has a decision, because they've never been a woman and should not be making a decision for women. I'm very passionate about this topic for obvious reasons, but it's also what I believe. Now, do we want to, ensure that abortions are happening everywhere and all the time? No, but not a single Democrat wants, every woman in the world to have access to abortion, because we believe every woman should have an abortion. And we're attacked because we believe that women should be able to make decisions for our healthcare. But it is ensuring that women don't have to make that decision. That's where I'm at. Hope that was enough.
I've looked, like I don't say that, but when you apply for this, because you develop, this part of you develops as a woman, does not. And yet I have had experience because of that. When I was in, we call junior high, 9th grade, of an individual who very inappropriately, a student, not, no, I want to see anything. And so I look at that also with different lenses too, because I think what I went to, and I start seeing some of these other things happening, I'm going, could that become a point of people like me? They say, okay, you can't do this to your body. Well, maybe you can. Because I'm thinking of these people, I had to think a lot ahead, did a lot of things that now we can't do because the laws are changed.
Sure.
Nobody could change your birth certificate, and everybody could do all this thing. Well, and so so it's I compare it on that lot. There's so many things right now that concern me with the line of thought that's going on and what goes on. Seems to go. I've mentioned it on some Facebook. What goes on in Florida? Don't tell me different ones, and they come here.
Sure.
They kind of like somebody test the water and
Then it comes to Oklahoma.
yeah, and all these systems now going
Or Texas, they go to Texas.
Sure.
scary. It's concerning
Sure.
to see all these things happen. Yeah, and what I talking to my friend of mine on that whole and I teach you some of that he said before to me. This is up in Colorado now, but she was a by a family member, and there's 2 of those that are obvious things that are being left out. Being left out. It's okay, they said like the mother. Well, are you gonna, if you're a victim as a female woman, of either rape or incest, are you gonna want to take that child?
Sure.
But that's probably said about so many things that I said about the thing with the judge, the Supreme Court. We don't have a lot of women around the table
Sure.
to say, this has got to end.
Sure. All right. So we have 3 people who haven't asked questions yet. Can I call on you? Do you guys want to have questions? No, that's okay.
Madison, if they come up with a question later.
I'm here. I'm not going
Right,
anywhere.
well, and
Yeah.
let's say like they wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and they're like, oh my God, that's the question I should have asked. How can they contact you?
Sure. So 1, I do have a website, pretty easy to find, madisonhorn.com. If you email me, it's just info@madisonhorn.com. So again, super easy. So if you have questions, I'm always available there. I'm on social media, So pretty accessible. Obviously, I was hoping you guys had a ton of questions, and that's okay. But I am, going to be here throughout the evening as well. So if you guys want to chat towards the end, I will be sitting here in the room with you guys. Okay, all right.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I'm just about to check. It does not look like it. Don't see anybody.
Big call.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Horn. If you have any questions, again, stick around at the end. And she said she will make herself available. On the back of your agenda and in the email that I sent you guys, there was a link for our meeting minutes from March. Is there any objection to the approval of these minutes? No, okay, perfect. Well, then we will just consider them approved. John Weston, do you have any officer update this month? Can you talk to us about the registration, the voter registration drive that is happening that you are looking for volunteers for, please?
Yeah, so looking for volunteers, Westside Community Center has been having really out there for a resource day, which is just basically an event. They have, for example, Grand Lake Mental Health come out, they have other social services that will come out, and they'll have like maybe 60 or 70 attendees. We're gonna set up a nonpartisan voter registration drive. The reason that's nonpartisan is so it's gonna be May 7th at 10 to 2 p.m. And I get 2 or 3 volunteers to go out and help work that day. You have to want to stay 2 hours, you want to go 4 hours, that would be great. So basically what we're going to do is register voters, kind of direct them to the websites that we need to go to. We've also got resource bags we're going to be handing out to people. And so if you guys volunteers, go ahead and get in touch with me. I think Eric put my contact information on the blast.
In the blast, yep.
Yep.
So for those at home, May 7th, 10 to 2, nonpartisan voter registration drive. If you're interested in volunteering and helping out John with that, contact him at foreverblueokie, right?
Yes.
At gmail.com.
Yeah.
And it's in the email. So just click on the link in the email if you got that. Okay, perfect. Let's see here. Rebecca is absent tonight, so no report from her. She will do our minutes though, I promise, since I'm reporting. We have a few officer announcements to make. Molly Tyndall, our vice chair, is moving out of the county this month, and so she's forced to resign just by residence. So our vice chair position is open, and the female affirmative action seat has also been vacated due to absenteeism. So if you are not male and you are interested in the vice chair or the affirmative action position, please approach us, let us know. We have 90 days to submit some names to the leadership of Congressional District 2 in order for them to appoint them. Otherwise, they just pick people on their own. So if you're interested, let me know. I'll talk to you about the responsibilities, what it entails, that kind of thing. Let's see here. Our financial report, we have $3,325.37 in the bank, and we also have $25 in undeposited cash that just hasn't been put into the bank account yet. Our next meeting is May 26th at 7 p.m. We had originally scheduled Ranked Choice Oklahoma, I think, to come and talk to us, but we have shuffled our schedule in light of a few different factors, but Brandon Wade, who is a Bartlesville resident, has filed for U.S. Senate as well. And so he will be coming to speak to us in May. And I had no idea about his candidacy until they reached out to me just this past week. So we will have Ranked Choice Oklahoma come and speak to us. Rank the Vote. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Rank the Vote Oklahoma. We will have them come and speak to us after the primary season, just to make room for as many candidates as we can fit in. Yeah, voter registration help with John. Let's see here. Oh, poll workers. If you're interested in working as a poll worker on election day, the election board is always looking for Democrats to help with that. We're supposed to have Democrats and Republicans at every single polling location. And it's hard to find Democrats to work at every location. It's a paid position. It's not a completely volunteer gig. So if that's something that interests you, reach out to Rebecca Doris.
Or can they be independent or anything else?
Yeah, they can, but I think it's the law was written specifically about Republican and Democrats. So if you're interested in that, reach out to our secretary, Rebecca Doris, or just Yvonne House at the election board. She's happy to help you herself. Sunfest, we have that coming up the first weekend of June. We'll have our booth there. We submitted our application this past week or the week before. I'll email them again tomorrow just to follow up because I have not heard anything back, but this happened last year too, so I wouldn't worry about it. Keep that weekend open. Try to make yourself available for a 2-hour slot. It is a long festival, 3 days, if you're like the only person who sits at the booth. So please come and help. I love Sunfest, but not that much. So please help me. Our June meeting will be Naomi Andrews. She is, that name may be familiar to you. She was our vice chair of Congressional District 1, which we belonged to just before they redistricted us into Congressional District 2. She filed for US House the day of, just because someone offered to pay her filing fee and we need a candidate. So we're super excited that she stepped up. She is the only Democrat in the field. So she is our candidate for November in that race. That is the seat being vacated by Mark Wayne Mullen, who is running for Senate. So if you haven't heard of her, that's okay. That's probably on, just because she's not a very well-known person yet, but we will soon make her that way. So in June, she will be here to speak to us. And if you need information about her, I think I put a link in the email. So you can check out her website. It's pretty sparse. I'll tell you, she just got started. So don't look for much right now, but she will get there, I promise. She's amazing. I really love her. She helped me a lot with my personal campaign a couple years ago. She's really wonderful. So I'm really excited that she's running. We're fortunate to have her. Okay, I think that's all that I've got. Any announcements from you guys for the group? Anything we need to let our Democratic friends know? No? Okay. Anybody want to move to adjourn? Yes, please.
The League of Women Voters is going to have their annual meeting in Bartlesville.
Okay.
I believe it'll be in June.
The League of Women Voters will have their annual meeting in Bartlesville in June. And can you get us more information on that so that we will send it out in an email when she gets more information about that? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Any other announcements for the group?
Mayor, my bad hearing, but did you announce the date and the time for Sunfest?
Sunfest is the first weekend in June. It's the 3rd through the 5th.
So dark?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying that not for myself.
Yeah, I just don't know what their schedule is right now. Yeah. Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please? Yep, right. Thank you. Can I get a second? John? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Anyone opposed? Nope. Thank you. We are adjourned. Have a great month. Thank you, guys. Stick around if you have any questions. I got to pack up all these chairs anyway. Madison drove. Please ask her some questions. We will see you guys next month. Let us know if you guys have any questions. Email us or send us a message on Facebook, please. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.